can call fewer of you to speak, so it is in everyone's interest if you keep to time, and it means I don't have to use the magic red button which switches you off. So, Chris.
All right. So, my purpose here in proposing the direct negative is to remind you of Article 20.1 of our Constitution and to set your minds at ease. It is important that we reframe this debate. Try that again. It is important that we reframe this debate within our own minds so that we can make the right decisions for the people of Scotland. So, as many of you know, I am presently one of the members of the Standing Orders and Agenda Committee that put this resolution forward to be included on the agenda today. And I was the only one who voted against doing so. Now, I did so for a couple of reasons. It's really long and quite confusing for a start, but more importantly, it does something that I think is helpful for having a free, fair and frank debate on its merits. It attaches the name of two of our most respected elected public servants to the bottom of it. And that makes it difficult for us as individuals, I think, to separate our feelings about the merits of the resolution from our respect for its authors. So, I intend to try to set your minds at ease by reframing that issue for you. A vote to amend, or whatever, this resolution will be a vote of supreme confidence in this party's leadership. Because we know, unlike other parties I could mention, that our leaders are some of the most skilled and capable politicians in the world. They know something that most other politicians are oblivious to. They know that admitting that you've changed your mind isn't a failure. Proving that you're human, yet they sometimes look at new evidence or listen to a new argument and change your mind, or have the courage to admit that you might have been wrong, is the absolute best way in the world to earn people's trust. Most of us make mistakes. I grade some crackers. The laddie I was 20 years ago didn't half spout some pish. So we all instinctively know that when some politician is ducking and diving, insisting that they've always been clear and that nothing has changed and that they were right all along, that they're full of it. Most of us don't know the rights and wrongs of complex policy issues like currency or international trade deals, and we never will. So we elect representatives that we believe we can trust to examine the evidence and come to good decisions based on our shared principles. Which is why I believe if we cannot agree on a way to amend this resolution or remit it back until after the people have had their say in a citizens' assembly, that we should reject it. The Growth Commission and the First Minister are 100% right. We must fight the next independence campaign with credible economic policies. But it is important to recognise that what most of the public think are credible economic policies and what are really credible economic policies are often quite different things. And we should not fall into the trap of campaigning for economic policies that the public think are credible if we suspect they are not. Now, as a total sad one, a bit of a policy nerd, I've found myself going back to university because if I'm going to spend my entire life talking about politics, I might as well finally earn that degree. Now, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that I can't tell you what a credible economic policy looks like. But I can tell you that it isn't what people thought was credible in 2007. Everybody knows that the ideas that were predicting a great moderation and an end to boom and bust and winning Nobel Prizes back then were rubbish. We are all still living through the aftermath of that failure. Nobody really knows what the truth is, but the ideas that have credibility now, the ideas that win Nobel Prizes now, are very different to the ones that were popular 10 years ago. So, paragraph 10 of this resolution is absolutely right. We have no business making economic policy decisions until we have consulted business, the trade unions, and importantly, civic society, and sought to reach a consensus. So I would argue that much of the language of the last 4 paragraphs is premature. It arbitrarily narrows the options and the lens we are looking at economics through. It preempts the decisions of the Citizens' Assembly that the First Minister has proposed. We should not be telling the people of Scotland what sort of currency they will be getting or when they will be getting it. And my personal opinion is that we should ideally end up doing something that looks a lot like Amendment C. But
Chris,
I really don't think it's our place to make that decision for the people of Scotland. The other 3 amendments all widen the scope of the choices that people can choose between. We absolutely need to begin making decisions in this area, but they should be ones that enable the people to have the greatest degree of flexibility in creating their vision of a successful Scotland. Section 20.1 of our Constitution charges...
Okay, Chris, could you draw
just
to a close,
5
please?
seconds, 5 seconds.
You're out of time.
Please.
Had 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you're out of time.
I've got 60 words.
Chair speaks.
That's, your time is now done. But thank you very much.
This decision's up to you.
So, thank you, Chris. And if I could now call on Kate Forbes, who will speak for the motion. Kate is the Public Finance Minister, to be followed by